Happy Monday. Welcome, everyone. Dr. Dan here. I apologize for not having the front light here in front of me. So if the lighting seems a little bit dim, I do apologize. I prefer to just start this instead of fooling around with my little ring light to make sure you can see my face. Let me get some of this backlighting off. All right. That might look a little dim, but whatever. I'll roll with it. Maybe we'll edit this thing out later. But happy Monday nonetheless, folks. It's just such a pleasure and a privilege to join you guys and gals and just let you know what's going on, really in the medical cannabis world and how it's really just helping a whole lot of different types of patients. And I wanted to really lean into that today because here in the Medical Cannabis Certification Office, we see a wide range of different types of patient presentations. And I love all of them, really, literally all of them. And the reason why I'm just such a fan of going in this direction, not really as a substitute for prescription medications. In some cases, we can substitute it, but really just, as an adjunct to add on to someone's prescription medications if they choose to stay onto them. And here's why, right? People are familiar with cannabis. They recognize it, even if they're not a frequent user of it, they recognize it because it's a plant, it's natural. Even though it does have psychoactive effects, it is a natural plant. So people are familiar with it. And because they're familiar with it, they feel far more comfortable with it than, say, a man-made pharmaceutical drug. They don't know where this man-made pharmaceutical drug came from, right? Because it was synthesized in a lab. They don't know what it's made of, it's fancy chemical terms. As you can see, guys, I did decide to go back on the ring light thing because I feel like I'm sort of shaded out here. Voila, modern life. But yeah, so the thing is, people are familiar with the cannabis plant. It feels right at home with them, even if they're relatively new to its use. They recognize it, okay? And that recognition brings them a higher degree of comfort. And because it gives them a higher degree of comfort, they feel more empowered in its use because it doesn't feel like a foreign thing. You know what I mean? This is a tool that even if they haven't used it a whole lot before, they know that just intuitively, they'll have more control over being adept at its use intuitively versus a man-made drug where you have to have it scheduled out for you by the physician, which makes good sense. If you're starting a patient on a hypertension drug like a beta blocker or an ACE inhibitor or angiotensin receptor blocker, right? Or a calcium channel blocker. These things have the dose, the route of administration, oral, what have you, the frequency, once a day, twice a day, what have you. These things have to be determined by the physician so that the patient can use it effectively and not hurt him or herself. Now with cannabis, we do give guidelines. Me as a cannabis physician, I do give some guidelines as to its use and what might constitute misuse or possibly illicit use. But these are just rubrics, all right? Heuristics, rules of thumb, general guidelines, not hard guidelines. I just set these things up so the patients have a frame of reference if they're relatively new to cannabis or their systems are naive to cannabis. They can just have a little bit of a framework to work from. But, with that information notwithstanding, patients just overall, they feel a lot more comfort in the facility of using cannabis just owing to the fact that it's a plant. And that brings people a lot of ease, a lot of comfort, and a lot of hope that they'll be able to get on top of whatever symptom it is that they're looking to manage. right? And that's really at the end of the day what we're looking to do. We just want to be able to manage our symptoms. I don't sell patients on curing whatever diagnosis might be causing their symptom. Okay. All we're looking to do is get some improvement. If we can get improvement, man, we've done a whole lot. That is success right there. Improvement. That's all we're looking for. If patients can get to a point where they can have a hand in their own destiny and get some symptomatic improvement on their own terms and feel like they have control over that thing that's improving themselves, that's a win in and of itself. All right. That's huge. And I love being part of the process where patients feel empowered. That's a privilege. That's one of the biggest privileges I've ever been part of. I'm so proud of that, that I can just be there as a patient learns to manage themselves, as opposed to being the one to dictate to them, here, take this pill, take this off, and take this much of it. And then essentially having to be more or less dependent on my knowledge and my cues in order to maximize their health. I think moving forward, as we move into the future, we're going to be empowering patients with more and more information and tools, knowledge tools that they can use to live a more natural, balanced life where they're not as dependent on using tools that they are not inherently familiar with. And I think that's the huge promise of cannabis. It's opened up this frontier where patients can really have their own say in terms of their own impact on their destiny and living out their life on their terms. And that's super important. I'm really, really jazzed about that. And I've been able to just witness this sort of thing happening right in front of me. And I'm just real proud of that. That's really the point of this particular YouTube live cast. I just dig being part of that medical community, the cannabis community. Thank you. Thanks for letting me in. Thank you, folks, for letting me be part of this process for you. At the end of the day, you guys are the winners. Y'all are the one. I'm so proud of all of you guys. Y'all are the winners. I look up to all of you so much. I respect you all so much. I appreciate y'all letting me in and letting me jabber on about the wonders of natural medicine, which includes medical cannabis. I think it's a real privilege. I'm so happy to be part of it. Love you all. Have a great Monday. Have a great rest of your week. All right. Rock on. Boom. Dr. Dan out.